So in the UK, we're seeing this really strange thing happening with AI. On the one hand, it's making businesses way more productive, but on the other, it seems to be costing people their jobs. We're going to unpack what's going on and why it's such a big deal.
You know, with every new AI tool that drops, we all ask the same thing, right? Is this thing going to create new jobs, or is it going to kill old ones? It's a huge global conversation. But what's happening in Britain is, well, it's a little different. Because it turns out that in the UK, the answer is, well, it's complicated. Really complicated. The data is showing a unique and, frankly, a pretty concerning trend that sets the UK apart from other big economies. Let's dig into the core of the problem.
So, there's this new study from Morgan Stanley, and it's uncovered something it calls the AI paradox, a trend that should probably have the entire British workforce paying attention.
Okay, so here's the big headline. The UK is a total outlier here. I mean, compared to other major economies like the US, Japan, or Germany, Britain is the only one where AI is actually causing a net loss of jobs. It's a stark contrast to what we're seeing almost everywhere else. All right, let's get into the numbers because this is where you can really see the contradiction playing out. It's like two powerful opposing forces are at work in the UK economy.
So on the one hand, you've got AI just crushing it. We're talking an 11.5% productivity boost on average for British companies that use it. They're getting faster, smarter, more efficient. So what's the catch?
Well, this is the catch. All that efficiency, it came at a pretty steep price, a net job loss of 8% over the last year. It seems like for every step forward in productivity, jobs are taking a step back. And that is the heart of this paradox.
To really get a sense of just how strange this situation is, let's put the UK side by side with the US. The difference is, wow, it's pretty stark.
So check this out. Both countries are seeing similar boosts in productivity from AI. But look at the jobs. In the UK, a net loss. In the US, a net gain. It's the same technology, but the results for workers are polar opposites.
So you have to ask, why? Why the massive difference? Well, the studies suggest it comes down to unique economic pressures in the UK. We're talking higher business costs, rising taxes, and that might be forcing companies to use AI just to cut costs and survive, instead of using it to innovate and grow. And that makes the whole job market way more vulnerable. And look, these numbers aren't just stats on a page, right? They represent real people, and this is fueling some serious anxiety about the future of work across the UK. And this isn't just a hunch, the anxiety is everywhere. A recent survey found that more than a quarter, think about that, more than 1 in 4 UK workers are worried they could lose their job to AI in the next 5 years. That is a huge chunk of the workforce feeling really insecure.
And this feeling isn't hitting everyone the same way. It's the younger workers, Gen Z, who are the most worried. Baby boomers, who are closer to retirement, they're a bit more secure. But here's the really crucial part. The jobs most at risk of being cut are those early career roles, for people with 2 to 5 years of experience. That's a huge threat to the next generation of workers.
You know it's serious when major leaders in both business and politics start sounding the alarm. They're warning that this isn't just an economic trend. It could have real societal risks down the line.
London's mayor, Sadiq Khan, didn't mince words. He said, "We have a moral, social, and economic duty to act." He's framing this as something we absolutely have to deal with, not just for the economy, but for society itself.
And he's especially concerned because London's economy is so heavily reliant on those white-collar jobs, finance, law, consulting. He says the city is at the sharpest edge of change. And he points to the same thing the study did. It's the entry-level, the junior roles that are the first to go. But the warnings get even more serious than that. Listen to this. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, basically raised the stakes to a whole new level. He warned that if governments and businesses don't step in to help people who lose their jobs, we could risk civil unrest. I mean, that's not just an economic problem, that's a social stability problem.
So all of this leaves us with a massive critical question. AI is here to stay, right? Its power to make businesses more productive is undeniable. The challenge, the puzzle for the UK, is how do you take that power and use it to create jobs, not just get rid of them? How do you turn all these efficiency gains back into opportunities for people? That is the question that has to be answered.